which means that any organism with sufficient mass and cognitive capability is a potential vector. Is something wrong?
No, nothing.
Splendid, shall we? Unfortunately, my usefulness to this particular endeavor has come to an end. Protocol does not allow units with my classification to perform a task as important as the reunification of the index with the core. That final step is reserved for you, Reclaimer. That wasn't supposed to happen.
Oh, really?
Cortana.
I've spent the last 12 hours cooped up in here watching you toady about, helping that thing get set to slit our throats.
Hold on now. He's a friend.
Oh, I didn't realize. He's your pal. Is he your chum? Do you have any idea what that bastard almost made you do?
Yes. Activate Halo's defenses and destroy the Flood, which is why we brought the index to the control center.
You mean this?
A construct in the core? That
Soft.
what?
Yeah.
How dare you?
Do what? I have the index. You can just float and sputter.
Enough! The Flood is spreading. If we activate Halo's defenses, we can wipe them out.
You have no idea how this ring works, do you? Why the Forerunners built it? It doesn't kill Flood. It kills their food. Humans, Covenant, whatever. We're all equally edible. The only way to stop the Flood is to starve them to death. And that's exactly what Halo is designed to do. Wipe the galaxy clean of all sentient life. You don't believe me? Ask him.
Is it true?
More or less. Technically, this installation's pulse has a maximum effective radius of 25,000 light years. But once the others follow suit, this galaxy will be quite devoid of life. Or at least any life with sufficient biomass to sustain the Flood. But you already knew that. I mean, how couldn't you?
Left out that little detail, did he?
We have followed outbreak containment procedure to the letter. You were with me each step of the way as we managed this crisis.
Chief, I'm picking up movement.
Why would you hesitate to do what you've already done?
We need to go right now.
Last time you asked me, if it were my choice, would I do it? Having had considerable time to ponder your query, my answer has not changed. There is no choice. We must activate the ring.
Get us out of here.
If you are unwilling to help, I will simply find another. Still, I must have the index. Give your construct to me, or I will be forced to take her from you.
That's not going to happen.
So be it. Save his head. Dispose of the rest.
Look out.
Alright guys, welcome back. That LI Gamer guy here. Just wanted to lead you off with that awesome cutscene kicking off the 8th mission, I want to say. I'm sorry if I got my numbers mixed up here with the missions. Really bad with numbers, guys, but here we are, back at Halo's control room. Pretty sure you could put together the pieces about what's happening right now, or what just happened. So I'm going to spare you the details, but here we are, back at the control room, ready to kick some ass.
We can't let the Monitor activate Halo. We have to stop him. We have to destroy Halo. According to my analysis of the available data, I believe the best course of action is somewhat risky. An explosion of sufficient size will help destabilize the ring, and will cut through a number of primary systems.
Alright, so unlike the last mission, guys, the Flood aren't the only foes that we will be facing. This is the first mission where all the factions are present. The Forerunner Sentinels, if you guys want to count those, the Covenant, which are right in front of us, and the Flood get to bash it out with each other. I have to say, it makes for some pretty interesting gameplay. Dealing with all three factions at once, you know, especially in one level, unbroken and everything like that. You know, you learn some some pretty awesome techniques that you can implement. You could either, let them duke it out together and then mop up the rest, whatever's left. You could take both factions head on, which I don't advise unless you want to get killed multiple times. But if you want to, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. Or just have it your way. Do whatever makes you happy. You could take to a vehicle. This is a pretty heavily vehicled mission, if that's even a word. I don't know. But what I meant to say was there's a lot of vehicles you're able to use in this mission. That's better. So use whatever you need. Just taking some cover here, letting my shields recharge. Yep, we're still facing some Covenant, battling our way out of the control room here. If you guys aren't familiar, this is the same control room that we encountered in 5th mission, I want to say. And I believe I said in that mission that this level is that level backwards, if that makes any sense. Sorry if I completely butchered that, but I'm sure I did. But I'll explain it better as we keep going here. That evolved. Going to be doing all the campaigns eventually, but figure we start off with the first one. Probably a good place to start, right? Our objective for this level is basically to a couple different things. First objective is to shut down the full phase pulse shield generators so that 343 Guilty Spark has to repair them, which is going to buy us some time. We have to relocate for the 3rd time in the campaign the captain and go and find him so that we can activate the Pillar of Autumn's engines to go critical, which will in turn destroy the ring. And that's our end goal. We want this thing to go bye-bye. We don't want it for the Covenant at all. So that's basically our mission at hand here. Got to fight through waves upon waves of enemies to get there. Have a couple different pit stops to make. Our first one being all the way up there, 214 meters away. However, these Covenant are proving rather difficult right now, and I don't have the best health situation going on here, so I'm trying to play it a little bit defensively if I can. I really don't want to get too close to these elites if I can help it. In the later missions here, you deal with what's known as Spec Ops elites, and it doesn't really mean anything other than the fact that they're in black armor and they're a little bit more powerful than the previous elites, but again, it really doesn't mean anything. Just in the Halo universe, they're known as Spec Ops elites. So I figured I'd just share that little bit of information with you guys for those interested. As I said, I'm trying to play a little bit more defensively here, only because there is a tank on the other side of this pillar, and there is a good amount of troops in this part of the level, so I'm trying to save my health so it can last. Take out some of my enemies at a distance, well, most of my enemies at a distance if I can, because to get up close with the Covenant, or the Flood for that matter, isn't very wise. Pretty sure I made that somewhat clear in my previous videos, but if I didn't, I just said it again, so there you go. But yeah, how you guys doing so far? Happy Saturday to you. Hope everyone's doing well. How was your week? Everybody getting ready for the weekend, I'm sure. Happy to have you on the channel. If you're new, welcome. We'll be the first to welcome you. Consider subscribing. I'm going to have plenty of content ahead for you guys, so please stay tuned. I enjoy making videos for you guys. I hope you enjoy watching. I know I'm not very good at the editing aspect of it yet, but I'm getting there slowly but surely. Thank you for being patient with me. There's a learning curve to everything. And yes, I made contact. Good. I wanted to make sure that rocket didn't miss because I want to make all these shots count. while I can on its ground troops. Alright guys, so we reached our first objective. This is what's known as a phase pulse generator, and I believe there's 3 of them in this level that we have to disable. And basically why we're doing this is to buy time. 343 Guilty Spark has to undamage these, repair these, is what I meant to say, in order for Halo to be used. So that's why we are doing this.
The generator's central core is offline. Well done.
But yeah, we're off to the second objective, guys. Here we go. Gonna leave you all with a few minutes of uninterrupted gameplay, so enjoy the sound effects and music and destruction of Halo for a few minutes. I'll see you.
Head through that door. That's the way to the next canyon.
Alright guys, welcome back from that uninterrupted gameplay. So just a quick topic that I wanted to touch on in the previous video that I feel didn't get enough time. I believe I touched on it a little bit, but was unfair advantages when it came to combat with the Flood. When you fight the Covenant and they have a powerful weapon or a powerful foe that you're about to face, you know, most of the time you know when it's going to attack, and you have ample time to react, you know, so you can defend yourself. When it comes to the Flood, however, and I'm sure you've seen it several times if you've watched the last two videos, they sometimes wield, you know, rocket launchers, shotguns. You know, thankfully they can't throw grenades, but they put you in unwinnable situations sometimes. Not only do they rush you, but they rush you and fire the rocket launcher at you point blank. And, you know, you may say to yourself, well, how is that fair? And it's not. And it's one of the things I dislike about this game, you know. It's one of my favorite games of all time, but if I had to gripe it for two things, it's reused. Alright guys, I wasn't going to put you through the torture of watching you die 1,000 times. I believe I touched on it last video about unfair advantages when it comes to the Flood. How they can wield more powerful, not more powerful, but they can wield powerful weapons they can use against you without any notice. And what I mean by that is if you have a combat form and he has a rocket launcher, he's going to fire that at you before you can realize that he's firing it at you. And you're going to lose that engagement. And that's not fun gameplay, and it's not fair gameplay. And that's one of the very few gripes that I have with this game in general, is the fact that it puts you in unwinnable situations with the Flood at times. And the fact that it reuses levels and assets several times in the campaign. But since the game is like, you know, from 2001, I'm not, you know, however old, I'm not, but we made it past that section. Like I said, I wasn't gonna make you guys watch it torturously, if that's a word, yet again. I'm gonna need a dictionary by the time I'm done playing this campaign, let me tell you. But no, we're just making progress here, finally. We're going through the level in search of the second, I believe, or third phase pulse generator that we need to deactivate. And in case you missed it, we're deactivating those to buy time for ourselves, just so we can try and destroy this ring, which is our goal, after all.
Okay, let's.
But in case I didn't say it before, this was one of my favorite missions in the campaign. It's not one of my least favorite at all. I definitely enjoy playing it. It's a bit on the longer side. The later missions are longer than the first couple. But that's okay, because the engagements are just so diverse and so vast that, you know, I'm willing to cut the how long it takes to get through the level. You know, I'm willing to give it a break. But there's so many vehicles that you can pilot. You know, I'm not gonna pilot every single vehicle. I'm just gonna play through it the way I usually play through the game. But the option is there, you know. As you can see, I'm piloting a Ghost right now. It's basically this hover sled with 2 plasma cannons attached on it. It's basically the Covenant's equivalent of the Warthog, which is this vehicle right here. It's a human, you know, like armored Jeep, kind of, if you want to put it that way. But it's basically the Covenant equivalent of that, even though it's not nearly as effective. But then again, you need 2 comrades to pilot the Warthog effectively, so you know, you can't drive it and shoot from it at the same time. So it's not very beneficial to you if you're playing single player and you have no Marines or anybody like we do now. So that's why I decided to roll with the Ghost here. But yeah, plenty of reused space from attack on the control room, assault on the control room. Excuse me. But the engagements are different. You know, none of this was here last time, so that's what makes this game so unique. You know, it puts you in different situations every chance it gets. Really, you know, every time you become comfortable playing, or you know, familiar with an enemy, they throw something else at you. You know, like just when we become familiar and started understanding the Covenant, they threw the Flood at us. You know, at the same time we got comfortable with the tank, you know, they threw the Covenant tank at us. And you know, it's just a never-ending revolving door of new things to do and new enemies to fight. You know, so like I said, you could rush through this section if you wanted to, and you know, don't engage any of these guys, or you can engage the heavier targets like I'm doing now. You know, the choice is yours, and that's what makes this game so fun, in my opinion. That's why I keep coming back to play it. The game is so old now, you know. I'm sure its multiplayer player base is, you know, far gone by now, but as far as its campaign replay value, nothing comes close, you know, in my opinion. So I'm glad this waypoint popped up, because I was going the wrong way, so I would have had to come all the way back. But yeah, we go to the top of the spire here. The Covenant have pretty fortified positions, to be honest with you. So you don't really want to rush through here. You want to take your time. Try and get rid of the heavy enemies first. You can rush through if you want to, but my advice would be to clear out the heavy enemies first, so your vehicle isn't taking a beating, and then casually, you know, make your engagements. Okay, so this is the location of the second or third, I'm not sure, phase pulse generator. Getting ready to deactivate. As you can see, the room is well occupied, so we have some work to do before we can just go in there. We'll just die, after all, if we do. Oh no. Mr. Shotgun Flood, go away. Okay. I need to steal your ammo. There we go. you're gonna run out of ammo, excuse me, with your shotgun pretty quickly in the later levels here, where you're fighting the flood. If you take my advice and use it, that is. You can use whatever weapon you want, obviously, but the shotgun I highly recommend because it's a one-shot kill in most situations, and you're gonna find yourself missing it if you don't use it. So, my recommendation would be to use this, possibly the assault rifle if you want to deal with the infection forms. If not, any of the Covenant weapons, really. Any of the plasma weapons are pretty effective against these guys, I'm happy to say. And aside from the plasma pistol, which I don't recommend, I don't think it has a place in this game other than being the Grunt's primary weapon. You know, the plasma rifle, however, which the elites decide to take with them, is pretty effective. So, but I'm just gonna give you guys a few more minutes of uninterrupted gameplay. Enjoy the sounds of Halo, you guys. I'll see you in a few.
Even I can't override without authorization from the captain. We'll need to find him, or his neural implants, to start the fusion core detonation. That tunnel leads to the next section of canyon. The final pulse generator we need to destroy is through there.
Alright guys, we're approaching the final phase pulse generator location. I have run out of ammo completely with the exception of a fragmentation grenade. So I'm at a loss right now. I'm gonna have to play very defensively. Bad decision on my part not to go back and scrounge weapons if I could. But I'm gonna have to live with the decision and try and play as sneaky as I can and try and obtain some spare ammo or some weapons somehow. The Flood and the Covenant are basically duking it out right now. I'm going to try and distance myself best I can. If I can get unstuck, please. Thank you. I'm going to try and distance myself as I can, try and find some ammo. And engage these guys after I have done so. See if there's anything in here. Hopefully there is. It's not looking like it. No. Okay. That's not good. So basically there's a... Okay. I don't know where you came from. Please, where'd he go? Okay, I don't know where he came from, but I'm gonna need to find something pretty quick. And the odds aren't looking in my favor right now. Alright, looks like the Covenant won the engagement. Good and bad news for me, means I don't have to fight the Flood. Bad news, I still don't have ammo, so... Luckily, if I could evade this Banshee, I think I just gave them the slip. So... You guys may think to yourself, why am I not headed towards the objective? It's because it's up there. I need to find a Banshee, which are... There's two of them on the other side of this battlefield, so... gonna have to hike the rest of the way there. There's no vehicles in this section that I have access to, unfortunately. Fortunately, however, I was able to find some ammo, so that's good. Can defend ourselves now. Looks like the Covenant won this engagement as well, so... If I had a choice, I would choose to fight the Covenant. Not because they're easier or harder, that's not the case, just because they're easier to understand, if that makes sense. The Flood are very unpredictable when it comes to their combat. And the Covenant, they can be unpredictable, don't get me wrong, however, they're a lot easier to fight. Because their combat techniques are more traditional. And not just, hey, let's rush the enemy and start shooting. Which you have to play differently, and you have to fight differently when that happens. Alright, so I think we're clear. I'm gonna gather my composure a little bit. Grab some health, grab some more rockets. I don't like the shotgun for this section, so I am going to switch it up. I might come back for it. The reason I don't like it is because... Hang on. I believe they had rockets, and I... Yep, he has one. Come on, you fucker. Okay. Crisis averted. That's what I mean, guys, when you encounter those rocket launcher flood, keep your distance. If they rush you and get in close, they don't care if they die. They're gonna hit you with that rocket, and you're gonna die. Wow, that one body flew all the way over here from where I shot him over there. So, seems to me I still have the gravity setting turned off. I don't care. It doesn't affect the gameplay that much, but just an option that you have. Another option you have is choosing to fight these two factions right here. The Covenant have 2 tanks, and one just spotted me. Great job. However, there are 2 Banshees that are at the other end of the battlefield, which I'm trying to get to without being spotted. Hopefully I can get there without dying. I might have to take one of these tanks out. Though. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I know I said I'm not trying to draw attention to myself, but it's exactly what I'm doing. I know. Alright, there are the Banshees back there. Thankfully for me, those Wraiths fire very slow traveling projectiles. So I have time as it shoots to evade. Unlike the human tank, where if it shoots and you're in its crosshairs, you're basically dead. So, but thankfully, we don't have to worry about that. So I'm gonna try and steal one of these. Climb, climb, climb. Climb, climb, climb. Okay, we're in the clear. I'm glad I got that on the first try, because usually it takes me 4 or 5 tries. I'm gonna go back and get that shotgun if it's still there. The only reason I dropped it was if I had to fight the Flood or the Covenant. I didn't want to run out of ammo for it, and I need it for this last section here, so just went back for the shotgun. We are on our way to our final waypoint, position, location, whatever you want to call it, to deactivate the final phase pulse generator. I hope I'm saying that right, because that's what I've been calling it the whole time. But no, once we do that, we can focus on destroying Halo and finding the captain for the 3rd time, because he's careless and can't look out after himself. No, I'm just kidding. But no, we have to find the captain again to get his neural implants so that we could take those, or him, to the Pillar of Autumn to self-destruct its engines so we could destroy Halo. That's basically what I'm getting at. Sorry if I lost you. But that's the plan, guys. Next video will be out shortly. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, and you feel so inclined, please leave a like. Consider subscribing. And we will be back for more very soon.
Final target.
Glad to have you guys. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time.
Let's find a ride and get to the captain.
No, that'll take too long.
You have a better idea?
There's a teleportation grid that runs throughout Halo. That's how the monitor moves about so quickly. I learned how to tap into the grid when I was in the control center. Unfortunately, each jump requires a rather consequential expenditure of energy.
Something tells me I'm not gonna like this.
But I'm pretty sure I can pull it from your suit without permanently damaging your shield. Needless to say, I think we should only try this once.